Welcome back to Retroactive, everybody. Today we are reviewing Superman, the newest movie, and well, the first movie, if you will, for the new DC universe from James Gunn. We are very excited to talk about this. So I'll bring my panelists here in just a second. Let's go ahead and do this. So Superman, um, big movie. This is one we've been waiting for quite some time. Obviously, there's a lot of hype behind this. There's been a lot of, I'd say, some trepidation leading up to the movie as far as like what is this going to be? What is it going to be like? That sort of thing. Nobody really knew what to expect. Like obviously there was going to be some James Gunn isms, if you will. We all knew that was going to happen one way or the other because he's writing it and directing it, of course. All the recasts and everything like that. So much drama with everything leading up to just the movie getting out because of what they're doing with the DC camp over there. But we're going to talk about positives, negatives, everything in between. And of course, at the end, we want to hear from you guys as well. So be sure to comment below. So I'm going to go around the table here and we're going to start with Steven. Now, I know you were a big fan of this, so I want to hear your thoughts, some things that stood out to you. We'll start with positives right now.
Well, absolutely. And I'll just preface like what I'm about to say with I have never been a Superman fan. Like to say that I tolerated Superman and anything that he was in with Batman is kind of like the limit. Like I didn't like Justice League because it was too Superman focused. I've never really been a huge fan of the movies. Like I love Henry Cavill, and so his Superman was probably the closest to something that I would say that I actually enjoyed. So I say all that to say I thought this movie was fantastic. I expected nothing and really, really fell in love with not just James Gunn's vision for Superman, but his vision for what his DC extended universe is going to be. I don't know what we're calling it now. The internet might be calling it something at this point. But whatever this turns into, I'm pretty excited. Some highlights for me. It's not since Iron Man 1. And I know Tony Stark was the same throughout these series more or less, but not since Iron Man 1 have I thought that a director has so thoroughly captured the essence of the character, like who that character is, what he's about, mannerisms, like his moral center, like everything about the character. They captured it so perfectly that it made me kind of like Superman. Not just to say that I like this version of Superman, like, oh, I like Superman now because of this movie. Like I find him a more tolerable character because of this movie. And there was the rumor a while ago about the Rocksteady people doing a Superman video game, and when they canceled that, I was like, oh yeah, I wouldn't have played it anyway. And now I'm kind of like, man, I would have played that Superman video game now if it didn't come out, just because this version of the character was so true to the best parts of the character, at least the things that I found the most tolerable. I thought the actor did a great job. I've liked him in most everything I've seen him in. I thought he was really great as Superman. He was acting his butt off, and that's the funny thing. It was like I didn't know what performance we were going to get from him, but he was really playing, especially compared to previous roles he's been in. He was really playing a character. Like this is not just him. This is like he was playing Clark Kent, Superman, the doubts, the confidences, everything. It was really cool. Also, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor was top notch, legendary comic to screen villain right there. The supporting cast was great. What's funny, I think what's most funny about it, and if we're talking about positives, is that it felt like a special, unique, fun movie, but it does everything modern Marvel movies are doing visually. Big monsters, the same kind of aesthetic for we're doing spoilers, right, Andrew? The spoilers, Andrew.
Sorry, I forgot to say at the top of the show, it is spoiler review. So just keep that in mind.
Yep. Okay. Well, I'm glad I checked. But we're the pocket dimension looked very marvelly. It was a lot of random bullshit happening all over the place. It had all the things in it that really annoy me about modern Marvel. And I just, for some reason, like I'm like, wow. So it might not be the over reliance on, you know, CGI. It might not be the uh, what's another example? So like it might not be like the random characters, which is kind of like James Gunn's specialty. They're making the random characters feel important and special. It's just the writing was great, the pacing was great, the stakes felt big, but not they didn't have to make them like life or death every second of the movie. And a huge shout out to
Wait, so you didn't think a giant black hole was life or death?
not please please then you must not really understand ice breath physics if you don't understand they were going to get out of that just fine. And I can see
I just got onto that.
So you have a situation where I'm leaving the theater and I'm like, am I a Mr. Fantastic super fan now or whatever that one suit here? Mr. Fantastic, right?
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific. I keep saying fantastic, but like, am I a huge Mr. Terrific fan now? Like that character was great. James Gunn does such a good job with those obscure heroes, and I guess if I was gonna wrap up my favorite things about it, like I love Crypto. That's a great part. The Supergirl cameo at the end was phenomenal. I love that she called him a bitch. That was so great. And but for me, days and days after we saw the movie at release, it's been a few days, almost a week now. It's Nathan Fillion. It's all Nathan Fillion. Every time I think of that movie, I'm like, man, I enjoyed it so much. That part where he's like, he's Clark Kent, right? To Lois Lane, and she's like, no, you're not supposed to say it. Like he was so delightfully stupid and overconfident, and I went into it thinking, God, I'm just gonna be ready for them to get to Hal Jordan and let's get past whatever this stuff Gunn is doing with the Green Lantern, and now I'm like, no, I need a full standalone. I need a standalone with him. He can be as big of an asshole as he wants to be. I thought that was a really like pleasant surprise of the movie. The fingers at the end when he's killing the bad guys and they're doing the Green Lantern fingers. Oh, so good. I really loved it. I really, really loved it. It's a great movie. Great movie. Pass turn.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to love here. Now, like obviously, not everybody's always on the same page with that. There's always going to be things to nitpick, blah blah blah. But we'll get to that later. There's definitely, I'd say, more positives than negatives across the board with this, which is, I'll be honest, a surprise to me. I was very much like in the camp of like, I'm really not excited for this, but they won me over. But I won't dive too much into it for me yet. Let's hear somebody. I know, Ashlyn, you are not exactly as thrilled as some of the other people on the panel from this particular movie. Not that you hated it, just maybe you didn't love it. But because we are starting with some positives, I am going to give you a chance to see if you can sift through and come up with some stuff that you think that really stood out to you as far as positives go.
As far as positives, I really liked Rachel Brosnahan's version of Lois Lane. I thought she did a really great job. I really enjoyed her. So I'm a big fan of hers. So I really enjoyed what she brought to the role and the performance, especially with the fact that like a lot of people did not like Isla Fisher's version of Lois. So I thought, and it's hard because I like her as an actress too, but I did think I liked Rachel's version of Lois a little bit better. The kid who played Jimmy Olsen was hilarious. So funny. The whole like playing him as a ladies' man, like, and all these women wanting him was just really, really funny when you've got Clark in the office with like, but they're like, but it's the glasses, they're hiding his magnificent Kryptonianness or whatever, so that was funny. Let's see. Crypto grew on me. I was apprehensive at first just because I liked the version with like whether it was like a wolf dog or a husky or whatever, but as Crypto went on with his unhinged, untrained self, I ended up liking him a lot. So I think it ended up working. Let's see, other positives that I liked. I did like Nathan Fillion's character grew on me. At first, I was like, this ridiculous looking Green Lantern. I was like,
The bowl cut was beautiful.
yeah, no, that haircut was rough.
I'm getting mine cut that way tomorrow.
Oh dear God. Just welcome home, Jasenia. Your boyfriend looks like.
She'll love it. She'll love it.
Oh God. Yeah, no, the haircut was ridiculous, but his assholiness was amazing and so funny and just perfectly timed and on point. It was really great. Didn't get too much into Hot Girl, but I did like the performance and the actress that played her. I thought she did a good job. Would have liked to got a little bit more of her on screen and like just the girl that played her and everything, but it seems like they honed in more on Nathan Fillion, and then on the guy who played Mr. Terrific had a way better role than I thought he was going to, and he did a fantastic job. His comedic timing was really good, really funny, and overall I just really enjoyed his overall performance. Andrew and I had been introduced to him before on screen via the Arrowverse and had really liked that character in that. So I think it translated honestly really seamlessly from television to the big screen with the character and like the way he was presented and the two different actors. Honestly, it really felt like you were watching the same person almost. So they did it in a really good way that seemed seamless. So I liked that. But yeah, so I think that I did, of course, like Nicholas Hoult, I think did an amazing job as Lex Luthor. I think safe to say maybe the best on-screen Lex Luthor we've had. So I don't know. I really enjoyed his performance and thought he did a really good job.
All right. Well, I'm glad that there's some positives for you. I'm just kidding.
I felt like you were really struggling there to come up with some positives.
I think assholiness is my new favorite word.
Yeah.
Assholiness. That's what you call the Pope of douchebags, is assholiness.
Your face said it all. You were really struggling there.
She to be fair, like Steven and also myself, we are just not Superman fans. We're just not. Like
nope.
Batman,
her person. Yeah, she's Batman, and like I mean, I guess if I had to choose between those two, I would lean Batman. But I don't know that
Henry Cavill
I personally was never like.
Henry Cavill was the first person to ever make me like Superman.
You know why?
Superman.
Because it's Henry Cavill.
No, because he was Batman. Everyone was Batman in the Snyderverse. They made them all Batman. Everyone is Batman. That's why. Listen, that's why I was kind of like, it took me a long time to come to terms with that.
No, it was it was the eye candy of Henry Cavill. That's what it was.
It was not the eye candy of Henry Cavill. I actually just really enjoy him as an actor and the gravitas he brings to every performance. And I really just liked that interpretation. And he was the first one to make me give a damn about Superman. Otherwise, I was just like, Superman's an obnoxious Boy Scout who just like doesn't see any gray. Everything's black and white with him. And I just was kind of like, yeah, I don't like the Boy Scout character. Like the infallible, like I'm better than
Way to pull your punches there, babe.
See, that makes sense considering you're with the bad boy of our friends group. That makes perfect sense.
All right, let's hear from Josh now, because I can't.
You call me John?
Josh.
You said John.
I did not say John.
Is your name not John? I'm so sorry. I've been calling you John this whole time. I'm so sorry. Andrew told me that was your name.
Oh, well, sadly it's Dalton, but we won't go there. But first things first, hashtag not my Superman, bring back the Snyderverse 100%. I'm just kidding. I actually surprisingly love this movie, and as somebody who is a huge Henry Cavill fan, like that is my Superman. Even though you all call him Batman, he's still my Superman. But this was a very nice surprise. It's been a long time since I walked out of the theater with just like a genuine smile and like happy with what I just watched. I think David Cornsweet did a fantastic job as Superman. I really feel like we were watching a comic book on screen. His banter with all the characters, Mr. Terrific, especially Lois Lane. I love that we're not doing the whole like origin story where she's trying to figure him out and investigate him. It's just like, bam, he's there. It's a lived-in universe. There are already a couple. There's already been decades and decades worth of superhumans and metahumans and stuff. So I like that they kind of just get into it. Nice change of pace. But David Cornsweet was a perfect Superman as far for this iteration. I feel like would he fit in the Snyderverse? No, but for this universe that James Gunn is creating, he is perfect for it. And I think that he is especially in this day and age, he's a Superman that we kind of needed because like he's not like divided. He's like for the good. Like when he's having his banter with Lois, when she's saying that it was wrong for him to interfere with the war, he's like, people were going to die. Like he wasn't for one side or the other. He was just for, all life on Earth. All life is precious. I mean, he's fighting a giant kaiju and he still saves a squirrel. So I just think that in today's, how crazy the world is today, we need like a Superman, figure like that. And I think he was pretty spot on for it. Nathan Fillion did great as, Guy Gardner. He was hilarious. Every scene that he was on, he stole the show. I am interested to see how it would be if he went toe-to-toe with Superman since he got in his face. And then, of course, Mr. Terrific, he was a scene stealer. I don't know much about that character, but I want to see more. That whole scene with him and Lois where she's just kind of in the dome and he's fighting everybody. It really, like we were talking earlier, it really felt like the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 scene, like towards the end. Like with the way that James Gunn shot it, he's like amazing when it comes to that stuff. The only gripe as far as the people I have is Hawk Girl, and it's not because of her acting or the actress itself. We just didn't get much of her. What you saw in the trailer, minus like maybe one scene, is what you get. And then the entire time she's doing that yelling thing, which I know is comic accurate in the animated series. I know that's what she does, but it's like in every scene, that's what she was doing. And like they would do like those close-up shots, and it's just like she's doing that yell, and it just turned to be a little obnoxious. Like, we get it, you're fighting, you don't have to do that every time you're charging at somebody. But that's
I really enjoyed the murder,
and I feel like
that was great.
The actress is great. Like I loved her in The Last of Us, and I'm excited to see her as Hot Girl in the future, like in Peacemaker. I already know she's going to be funny as hell, and I just think that they should have utilized her more. She should have been given the same treatment that like Guy Gardner got and Mr. Terrific. We should be talking about her as much as we're talking about them. I just think because she's a badass character in the animated series. So that was a little bit of a letdown, but again, that's not on her. That's more on how the movie was, cut up and James Gunn wrote her. And there were a few things that make sense, like with the whole black hole thing. Made a joke earlier. If he could have just blew himself out with his ice breath, I don't know why he didn't do that to begin with before he even got to like that far in with the baby. Stuff like that didn't really make a lot of sense. But what was hilarious was the whole scene where he busts into Luthor Corp's building looking for the dog, but he wasn't mad about the fact that his message just got like Lex Luthor just broke into his fortress or anything like that. He was just mad that the dog was gone, which I just thought that if you really think about it, that's actually kind of funny. And then one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie is when he's drinking hot cocoa with Lois, and you just see the Justice Gang out there fighting that giant squid thing, and he's just like, oh, they got it, and he's just going on about how good the hot cocoa is. Just that subtle comedy that like James Gunn's able to put in his films. That's the comedy I like. It's just, I don't know, it's not over the top, and like that's one of my favorite scenes. And it was so like minor and small, but I don't know. I just felt like that was hilarious, and it was really cool that David Cornsweet did double roles. I was expecting to see like Henry Cavill or somebody play Ultraman, but it was cool to see that he was playing the villain too at the same time. So we'll see. I'm pretty sure him falling into a black hole means that character will come back as something else in the future. That's how comics usually work. Crypto was awesome. I did think maybe it would have been over the top, but they made it work. Everybody loves a good cute figure. Like Star Wars has Grogu, Marvel had Groot, and now they have Crypto. Supergirl was awesome. Like I said, I agree. I'm happy that she called him a bitch, and I like that tone that they're setting up for her. And I do like that actress a lot. I think she pulls off the look, and I think she's gonna do great. And I'm just excited to see Jason Momoa as Lobo. Metamorpho was funny. The whole thing with the baby, I wasn't expecting I forgot that guy was the actor that was playing was even in the movie, but I think Metamorpho was a cool addition. And at the end, like Guy Gardner didn't want to let him join, but the second he said that the name was cool, he's like, "You're in." Just little stuff like that. I don't know. I just really like the movie. I think it's a great start to this overall new universe. Has me excited to see what they're cooking up next. And hats off to James Gunn. I love Henry Cavill. That's my Superman. I'm obviously more on the Marvel side, but I got to give flowers where they're due, and I think he did a fantastic job with this movie, and I'm excited to see more.
Well, now it's time for the Calvarine to come to fruition fully, not just in a cameo.
Yes, we need that. At least just in sequels. He doesn't need to be the new Wolverine. Let's just see him actually, for more than 2 seconds.
Is it a money thing? Because we'll chip in. They can go fund. They can do a GoFundMe.
I'll go on the debt. I'll go on the debt and give him everything. I'm maxing out every credit card I have for him.
All right. I'm going to jump to you real quick.
About the squirrel thing. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
I know she's Marvel, but Squirrel Girl confirmed, right? After he saved the squirrel, Squirrel Girl confirmed.
Yeah, that was just like a little subtle hint that was coming.
Yeah, I know she's Marvel, but that's a go. That's 100%. James Gunn's going to jump back for one. He's going to jump back for one movie. He's going to do the Squirrel Girl franchise over there. That's what he was letting us know. It's very subtle, but we got it. Picked up on it.
Wow. Now Josh touched on a couple of things as far as like with a couple of things that like negatives as well as the positives, of course. But before we dive too much into that, I do want to just mention now, my panelists have already mentioned a lot of the stuff that is incredible about this movie, whether it's the casting. As everyone's pretty much said, David Cornsweet like really stole the show. Like he had such an uphill battle coming into this, had to win a lot of people over, like myself included, and he absolutely did that, in my opinion. I do want to see more from this guy, obviously, to be like, oh, he is my Superman. But I'll say that I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed Man of Steel when I saw it for the first time.
Hashtag super shit.
Like, hashtag super shit. That upsets me. That scene was so great. Like with the little voice break and everything like that. Like he's just like, what upsets me. It was so funny. And that was one of the great things about it. Is like they really humanized him, and like made this character, this literally like godlike character, like down to earth, and like give him so much humanity. Not just for like the hopefulness and like the wanting to do good, but like little things like that, where like the things that he second guesses himself on, or like questions and things like that. And like he doesn't question the whole good and evil thing, but he has, he questions himself like everybody else does, and he has self-doubt and all this kind of stuff. And the storyline of his parents' message is what guides him, and now he has that. That falling away moment where he's questioning everything he's believed in, because we find out that, it's not all a lie, but that it's only half the truth, if you will, with that reveal. And what a interesting use of Bradley Cooper. He's been doing some very interesting roles lately.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Just kind of popping up. What was it? The Righteous Gemstones for an episode, and then doing this essentially like a cameo type role. Like it's all good. It's all good stuff. I'm just kind of like, I feel kind of bad. I'm just like, what a waste. Like not like it is, but it isn't. Like I just like Bradley Cooper is such a solid actor that I'm like, oh man, now as far as for this universe, like unless he's voicing another, animated type character, that's it. Like he's more or less done as far as live action himself.
You think that was the idea? Like it was because he did Rocket. They were like, we're gonna give him that quick hit, and it's almost like a James Gunn nod more than this is where we're using him as more like I bet they would have brought back Drax if they could have.
Well, James Gunn said that like there will be people that play multiple roles and things like that, so anything's possible as far as like him being used for something else. And maybe he just doesn't want to really be like fully attached to another franchise type role. even though the last one was more just like voice work and stuff like that, for the most part, as far as I know. I'm sure there was some mocap type thing, but not a ton as far as him necessarily having to be on set. But he might just be at that point where he's like, that's not really what I'm looking for, but my friend James Gunn is doing this, and he used a lot of people. Like there's I saw Yondu, Michael Rooker, does a voice in the movie. I'm not even entirely sure what the voice is, like for what character, I can't remember, but I saw he was on the list. Like several actors that he predominantly works with, he utilized them in one way or another. A lot of them are like probably throwaway type roles or characters type thing. So they, he could use them again if he so chooses.
Andrew,
and I do love
that.
Yeah, go for it.
I saw an article saying that apparently the reporter, the scene with the reporter in the beginning, like
it's Christopher Reeve's son.
It's Christopher Reeve's son, who's actually a not a reporter, but a journalist in real life.
Oh, yeah, I did see that too. Yeah, I didn't know about him being an actual journalist, but I saw that he was in the movie.
Yeah, apparently
so that was a cool thing for
in real life. So
nice. That's kind of like when they did in Twisters. They had the son of the late actor that was in the original.
Yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's kid
is like no, the main guy from the first movie.
Bill
talking about
Bill
Paxton's
Paxton's son.
And his son's like not like a big actor or anything like that. It was like
how convenient David Cornsweet's in that movie too.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, he played such a dick in that movie.
He was. I was like, really? This is Superman? All right.
I know. I do love the video where when they're on set and they find out that he got the role, and like the entire cast is just absolutely losing their shit.
That was really sweet.
Being like, "This is our Superman!" Like it's such a like wholesome video. Like the entire cast is freaking out about it. But yeah, as far as like I said, the likes and things like that. As Ashlyn said, the whole crypto thing grew on me because I did not love the look of them from the trailers. I loved that like essentially like low-key Hulk moment at the end with him and Lex Luthor. That was pretty funny. Like he tore that ass up at the end. But to Josh's point, yeah, the whole like, where's the dog? And Lex is just like, dog in a cape. What? Excuse me. Like it's just so good. Like there's subtle things with the Lex thing, and then he'll take it to that like top level when he needs to. But it was such a like, for the most part, like calm, cool, collected Lex that you would kind of expect, whether you've like, seen the animated stuff or like read some of the comics. I haven't read too much Superman comics, obviously, but I've seen different interpretations, and I mean, anything's better than the one that was in Batman v Superman. But
you don't see a lot of not my legs.
Hey, he did a great job. Okay.
No.
Shut up, John.
Now you're just being like those monkeys that were doing hashtag super shit that were the trolls on the internet.
Oh my god, that is the one.
That was a shout out to Snyder fans, and I am a Snyder boy myself, but even I had a laugh at that.
That sequence, that little scene was so like, there's James Gunn, like I said on the top of the show, there's James Gunnisms throughout the movie. There's things that work for me, and there's things that don't. And that was one of those things I was like, wow, that was just not. It's like it could have been anything. I think I had mentioned it to Ashlyn and Steven that it was like it could have been like an AI program or something like that. That's just like a bot is doing it online. It didn't have to be monkeys. Why did it have to be monkeys? Like I don't understand what that specifically had to be the thing. That made it almost like lampoonish. Like and we're like when we start to toe that line, like we're starting to reach parody, and I don't want to do that. Like I'm totally fine with this new iteration of like Superman and the DC universe being more fun, and well, certain projects, obviously, being more fun and lighthearted and colorful and like straight out of a comic book and stuff like that. And I'm sure that could be something out of a comic book panel, but that was just one of those things that moment in particular kind of took me out of it. And I was like, we didn't need that particular clip. But yeah, it was everybody mentioned the casting in general is just fantastic in this movie. I was so nervous about the Nathan Fillion thing, not because of Nathan Fillion. I absolutely love Nathan Fillion, pretty much everything he does, but because I knew Guy Gardner is like the worst Green Lantern and such an asshole, I was just like, no, I don't want to dislike Nathan Fillion, but he did such a good job with it that I still end up like you hate him and you love him at the same time with what he does in this movie. And he did such a good role. It's kind of like not to the same level, but like you go back to like Firefly and the way that Malcolm Reynolds could be such an asshole to certain people, type of thing. Obviously, this is like that turned up to 11, but like Malcolm Reynolds would have those moments too where he could be such a hard ass and such a prick to certain people or in certain situations, but still has like a heart of gold. I'm not 100% sure that Guy Gardner has a heart of gold, but it's not all bad either. So that was definitely fun to see. I'm with you, Josh, about the whole screeching hot girl thing. I think you and I talked about it yesterday. A bit too much on that. It was fine if it was like once or twice, but especially the scene where it's like in the hallway and it's the close up on her face. And that's one of the other things I think you and I talked about as far as I'm going to go ahead and jump, I guess, to more of the negatives and we'll touch on everybody else's. But that's one of the things that stood out to me that I wasn't super crazy about was James Gunn kept doing like the close-ups on everybody's faces with certain things like he likes to do. Like whenever Superman would fly around, it'd focus in on his face, and his face is like most of the frame, and there's just like wind blowing in his face. And then the hot girl thing, very similar. And also she's screeching essentially in your face. And I'm just like, can we back off a little bit? Just a scotch. Like we can be close, but we don't have to be this close. The little things like that, like a more nitpicky type stuff. I like Ashlyn. I'm not, like I said before, I'm not a Superman fan. Also, like Steven said, never been a Superman fan really. But if I was going to be, this is probably going to be the one. Hey, Corn Sweat really won me over. The way that the character's written really won me over. And so far, for the most part, this world is something that seems really fun. It seems like the most like comic book to movie adaptation that I've personally experienced. I think there's a lot of fun, a lot of joy, optimism, hope, whatever. So many different like feelings and emotions that you can get from this particular movie. That the positives, in my opinion, way outweigh the negatives. But of course, no movie is perfect. So let's get some other feedback from others here. Ashlyn, I'm going to jump back to you because you're probably the most negative on this movie out of any of us.
I'm going to go do my taxes for next year while Ashlyn's. I'm going to go do my taxes and then maybe clean the house. And then if I'll get back for the last hour of the negative stuff.
Yeah.
I'll make it back in time.
Circle back in about 45 and we'll see where we're at.
That's probably more reasonable.
Ashlyn,
I'm being so roasted right now, and I was going to try to be very nice. But, since we want to be buttholes about this, I'll just.
Her favorite part was the hashtag super shit, because that's how she felt about this movie. It was hashtag super shit.
I did not feel that bad about it. Like I said, there were plenty of positives. It's just not for me. I think my major problems with the film are the two, like, sidekick villains, the engineer or the mechanic or whatever the hell her name was
it's the engineer. It's
okay,
the engineer.
The engineer. Where was her conductor hat so I could know that? Anyways, yeah, I was not about her whole look, the setup, like everything with like the little nanobots. Like, I don't know. I was just very disinterested with that character. Didn't think 100% that she needed to be there. And then, with what was it? the name of the other one?
Ultraman.
Ultraman. Yeah, I don't know why. I guess because he's just like wearing a ski mask the whole time. His name is just very forgettable. There was
AKA
nothing
Superman.
ultra about him.
He was Superman. He was Ultra.
So like then the reveal of him like being like a clone of Superman, and whether he would be more interesting if he ends up coming back as like Bizarro Superman or something. That might be interesting to see. But as far as like those two characters, it kind of felt like they were trying to do like a callback to, the original movie where you had the three different villains that got stuck in I forget what the name of it is, but it's almost like a mirrorverse because they were like the Phantom Zone. Sorry, I don't know where that I just pulled that out of. But yeah, the three original villains that were in like the Phantom Zone from back with the old movies. It kind of seemed like they were trying to do like a play off of that, but I don't know. So yeah, both of those two characters unfortunately just fell very flat for me until the very end, where we get the big reveal of Ultraman being some sort of clone of Superman. However, Lex illegally obtained his blood to do that type of thing. My other issue, and the one that bugs me the most, that I'm going to try to be very objective and polite when I talk about how much I dislike this, is
I was joking earlier. I didn't think that you seriously felt that way about Superman. I was joking. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness.
I greatly dislike the representation of the parents and how idiotic and dumb they were played. I get that we are trying to play them as simple farm folk, whatever type thing, but I hated the physical look of the actors that we did, and maybe that has a lot to do with coming off of the Snyderverse and having such a great actor play. Gosh, I'm having so many brain farts today. The dad of Clark Kent, I can't think of.
Paul Kent, obviously.
No, he has an actual name, but anyway. No, whatever this like abomination of a representation of is, yeah, definitely Pa Kent.
Oh my goodness.
Was not a fan of this representation at all. I get trying to, as someone who grew up in the country around simple country folk, like if we want to portray people that way, like, but dear God, like this, if I was from Kansas, I would be offended. Like, I was not a fan of the representation at all. I think they played them way past stupid and just insultingly dumb. Like, of the phone thing with the mom was kind of funny. Like, I think we've all had those moments, but just the really harsh accents and just is just really bad. I was not a fan of it at all when coming off of who we had before representing both Martha and, like I said, I can't remember the dad's name to save my soul right now, but yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Anyways, so yeah, absolutely hated that. Thought it really took me out of the movie. It didn't allow me to connect on those more tender moments. The only time I thought that they were a part of anything that I was able to be like, oh, that's kind of sweet, was at the end when he's watching the new reel of his parents, and it's not his Kryptonian parents, it's his mom and dad from Earth. And so for that, I was just like, yeah, okay, that's sweet and all. I still don't love who they had for the parents, but I was able to emotionally connect with that a little bit. Wasn't a huge fan of the representation for Supergirl and was kind of taken aback a little bit by the whole like drunk party girl calling him a bitch comment. But after being it kind of like talking about it and being explained that what he might be trying to do with that representation of her and like this version of of her, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just wait and see how that all plays out. So we'll see what happens.
If I can jump off of that one. So for anyone that, since we've all kind of had this conversation off air, I'm gonna mention it real quick. So myself, and I'm sure a lot of other people have like the notion that what I think that they're probably doing with this version of Supergirl, because yeah, I'm not like, oh, I love that she's a party girl. It's not that. I think I know what they're doing, and I think it's that she's still reeling and dealing with the trauma that she dealt with. Because for those that may not know Supergirl's backstory, now if they're sticking like pretty close to the source material, basically she was old enough to remember everything that happened on Krypton. She was sent off. She was older than Kal-El when she was sent away. She was sent to watch him. She gets trapped in a black hole or something like that, and when she gets sent out, it's at a different point in time than when Kal-El reaches Earth. So by the time she reaches there, he's fully grown and everything like that. So my point is, she's old enough to remember everything that happened, everything that she lost, all the people that she lost, her home world, all that kind of stuff. So it's that like trauma reaction of like, now she's kind of in a self-destructive like spiral, if you will, type of things. It's not my favorite thing. I'm not a huge fan of that with characters and stuff like that. But I also understand that this movie could be like, essentially like a redemption arc of her like coming to terms with that and like healing from it over the course of her film or whatever. So by the time we reach the end, we have more of like closer to a traditional. I don't know if we'll ever get like full like she's as goody two shoes as Superman. I don't think we necessarily need to reach that level. We definitely need a bit of more like a bit of an opposite, in my opinion, between the two super people. I think would be smart, but we can get her to a better place and not in the party girl scene type of thing. Like I said, dealing with all of that trauma and stuff like that. So that's my thoughts. That's what I think that they're doing with this. But I could be completely wrong with that. Maybe she's just a shitty person. I don't know.
I think you hit it on the head perfectly right there at the end. I think you had it 100%. If you have Superman, and it's almost to a level of like insulting to just have like, oh, it's girl Superman. She's the exact same personality. She's doing the exact same thing he does, but she's a girl. I think it's good to have like a delineation between the two characters and like choose, if you're going to stay really true to Superman, to kind of have this other extreme representation of Supergirl. I really like the actress. I love that. Like I said, she called him a bitch, but it definitely remains to be seen if it's going to play. But I think that you were perfect. That last point you made about the difference between the super people, I think that was nail on the head. That's more than likely, but I would imagine the reason they're doing it is so that we don't just have like two goody two shoes, and it's like, oh, you get the girl version and you get the guy version. I think that's a solid choice.
Well, they already said that it's going heavily based off Woman of Tomorrow, which that's what that whole storyline is about. So yeah, he was pretty much spot on with it.
Yay! I got something.
I have to disagree with you though, Ashton, when it comes to the parents. I think, they were a little goofy, but I think that was to help kind of humanize Superman, because like it had like, look at how it affected Lois when she was walking in his room and seeing how he was as a child and seeing it really helped bring Superman down to earth. And I think that was the whole point of the parents. I know they were goofy and they were the exact opposite of what we got in Man of Steel. But I think it's because like they're just trying to help like humanize the Superman more. And I think that kind of helped a lot. Like we didn't really have to do the whole origin story. We kind of just based off how he interacts with them, it kind of said it all. So I'd have to disagree with you on that part. They weren't anything extravagant. Like they didn't really like have any amazing like things that like stood out to me. But for the premise of the story, I think they fit.
It's just we've gotten multiple representations of the parents before because of like with Smallville and things that had the parents play a very heavy role in that show. And you've got Rob Schneider, and it's been too long. I don't remember who played his mom, but like, so especially having with who plays Clark's dad, be some big powerhouse male roles and things like that. And these big actors that played his father and men that just were really good actors on screen and everything, even when we're specifically looking at the role of Clark's father. I just playing them that dumb and playing them just like way too much of simpletons to a fact, like to a fault where it was almost ridiculous or goofy or insulting, just for me really took me out of it. The only good thing is like Andrew had said, they're probably not going to be in anything moving forward other than maybe them talking on a phone call or something like that. So I agree with you that
was
they
actually
were
Steven, just to be clear.
whoever. I don't know.
I can see that. Like I can see where you're coming from. I just think
Holy
it's.
shit.
I think like that's kind of, like you kind of just said it. I think James Gunn instead he's trying to do something different and to do the kind of polar opposite of what every other iteration has done is to kind of help set his stuff apart. But I totally get where you're coming from. Like it, like they're like I'm not just like 100% disagreeing with you. I can see the direction of why he went that route versus the typical tough dad figure that he's always been on Clark and like past iterations. But
David,
I
do you
don't
have
forget
any,
that. Like, if we didn't get his origin story, they kind of just jumped in 3 years. There might be flashbacks to where maybe they do have, good moments like that. We just haven't seen it yet. So,
sorry, I was just going to say, Steven, do you have any negatives you want to touch on before we start wrapping up?
it's not Henry Cavill.
Nothing. No, and I love Cavill, and I'm super okay with that. I will say that with the one last thing on the parents, I think that historically when they've cast that character, they've wanted to give that character like equal gravitas to Superman, like make it like almost like, oh yeah, I can understand how this superhuman being, like how he would get that that level of austerity and magnanimousness from these men, these women, in the past. And I can almost, and I actually, the only reason I'm saying this, I've thought a lot about your opinion since you shared it, Ashlyn, and I was like, well, why? Because it's not just Ashlyn. Like a lot of people are not my paw can't hashtag like I've seen more than a few people having a problem with it. And I think that it's like I think it does play with the idea of, the idea of where do we come from, and obviously it's been touched on tonight, about it in relation to like that video and all that other stuff. But I can almost see myself agreeing at some level with Ashlyn in the sense that it's always important to see, the seeds of how they became what they became. And there are things like, so with Batman, there are things with Alfred's relationship with Batman where you can see the seeds planted of how Bruce and Batman, how they approach life. And I think I think the gooberness, to Ashlyn's point, the gooberness, we know where he got that. We know where he got his gosh darn itness from, hand over fist. But yeah, it's like, so he's got this video and he's really, what?
Sorry, just the parts when he's like, "Dang it, crypto," and "Gosh darn it," and all that kind of stuff.
And I'm leading into and piggybacking off Ashlyn's feelings about the parents to say, they really set him up to kind of have, and just to be clear, like I really loved the whole subversion of the origin story and the whole thing with with the parents and the half recording and stuff. Even if you could objectively say it's very convenient that they found it and it was like Lex kind of stumbles into this whole thing. It really they started the movie off by really undercutting the Kents as a theme in general and saying he's so fixated on his parents. Like he keeps calling them keeps calling them my parents, like very lovingly in the beginning of the video. And then the robot's like, oh, it soothes him. And they use it as a device at the end without really making the movie about the identity crisis. It never feels like that's the main focus. Like he's trying to pick between his adopted parents and his birth parents. The idea of who he thinks he should be and how he was raised. Like they never make it a big deal. And I think that having thought a lot about Ashlyn's opinion of the parents, I think that they had to make the parents so opposite of Bradley Cooper and that actress from Westworld that played his mother. I don't remember her name off the top of my head. I know she was in Westworld. They had to make them so different because they weren't spending a lot of time on what essentially was one of many subplots of his identity crisis. So I think there's this idea that this characterization of the parents being a less desirable set of role models for him, to the point where when we meet him in the movie, he's more obsessed with his austere, intelligent, well-dressed, godlike figures of his parents. And they give us a reason to feel that way. Oh, he might even be embarrassed of his parents being such goobers. It might be like, oh, this is like, and I think at one point he's talking to his mom on the phone in that one part. And he's kind of like dismissive over, like, hey, gotta go, yeah, whatever, bye. Which is really, they don't hammer it home. They don't make it like a cornerstone of the movie. And it kind of grew. As much fun as I was making fun of Ashlyn earlier, that seed kind of grew into maybe if there is a problem running through the movie, it's that James Gunn was very, very ambitious, and every idea was good and well done, and maybe they needed some more room to breathe. Because I think there's a movie that's about Superman singularly having an identity crisis, and we focus a lot on that, and we're introduced to his parents, and they have enough screen time, which is kind of, I think, the opposite might have enhanced Ashlyn's experience. Maybe if they had more screen time to kind of show their worth to him, and like show more moments where they are the authors of Superman, like not just Clark Kent, like they are the authors of that good person. And because that presents a really interesting idea of, Superman's of two worlds. He definitely is grounded in both, but he's got this really attractive, backstory, this really attractive God story. It's what are you gonna pick? And that to me is a really interesting story. And I think if I had to lodge a complaint, I think that was not undercooked, because I think what we got was solid. Maybe there was more to that, and a fewer sight gags and a fewer things could have explored that a little bit more, and maybe it would have been more satisfying. Because I can see now, after it's all said and done, like I could see, if you strip away the performances, I can see how ineffective, especially Ma Kent, was in the movie. See, we didn't even really get a moment of her with in the Snyderverse Superman. Like, she had a couple of scenes with Lois.
She was like
where
a
they
main
had
character.
kind of exchange. Yeah, where they had kind of an exchange, and
That's why her and Batman became friends. Martha.
Yeah, and that's why we don't remember either of the. I don't remember Bruce's dad's name off the top of my head either. So it's because all I will ever remember is the mom's names now, forever and ever. But we have a situation where they were given a lot to do. Now, I just want to say this right now, and I'll wrap it on the parents thing. I have one more small complaint after that. Those two parents, they're screaming if they're in the tornado. They are, Clark, come get us. We don't give a shit. Come save us. We do not let us die. It was that they would not be with the hand out like, no, son, no, you cannot do it. You cannot do it. And I guess my other complaint is there was and again, I joked about it earlier. There's been that pretty ridiculous line of people like woke Superman, Superman's too woke, and it's like the story of Superman is the story of an undocumented immigrant, right? I felt like they were the idea of a sovereign nation being invaded by another nation and it being a machination of Lex Luthor. And seemingly the first goal is just simply discrediting Superman so he can get his own country. And then he eventually says, I did this so I could kill you. And I'm like, it seems like you might have had a few opportunities to do that without being accused of killing Superman. Like, you could have had, you could have caught Superman off guard with Ultraman and killed him right then and there and been done with it, So that part of the movie, it seemed like a little convoluted. It was fun because it was like it was one of the more like I guess I don't want to use the word campy because I've been fighting against that on this movie for a while, but it's one of the more like tongue in cheek like oh he just wants his own country, Luthervania or whatever it was, and I'm sure there's a comic book to tie that into it, but it was just that I also kind of felt like that was a little half baked as well, and like Lex had plenty of opportunities to accomplish his goal without the whole like that whole plot. It did enable a lot of really interesting things to happen, which is why I think I'm more forgiving about it. But similarly to the parents, I think the idea itself deserved more. But outside of that, I had such a good time, and I really can't wait to see it again. So,
What would you say your rating out of 10 for that would be?
it's kind of held strong at a 9 out of 10. I think part of that is just the amazement that he pulled it off. Also, kind of feel like what should we have expected after 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies? I have not seen in our friendship, I have not seen Ashlyn so put off by a big part of a movie and then said, yeah, I still liked it though. Still good. Like that's how good it was. There are big off-putting things that even for me, like probably more than I'm willing to admit, there are a few off-putting things in it. The plasma river baby holding thing, like I would have roasted a Marvel movie for that. Like roasted it. So in all fairness, yeah, I personally enjoyed it in a 9 out of 10, and I find it really hard to be objectively critical of it, even though I went on a 10-minute or 10-minute tirade about two things. I'm not being objective. I loved it. It's really hard for me. I feel the same way about this movie that I felt about Iron Man 1. I was not invested in the character. I was shocked at how much I enjoyed it. It made me Iron Man 1 as like a burgeoning adult to just becoming like an actual adult. It made me like, okay, I like superheroes, you know? And then now this one as a too old for my own good adult, I'm like, wow, it made me more excited for Fantastic Four. That's the best comment. I was excited for Fantastic Four. I thought it was going to be good. This was like, wow, I can't wait to see the next thing where people have superpowers and they fly around and they make quips and do all this stuff. And that's the magic. I think that's the magic of James Gunn. I think he just gets people excited about a genre, and if Firefly just that he's just he's just a good guy. Well, maybe not a good guy. He's a good director, writer. Maybe that's I don't know about a human being, but yeah, I liked it a lot. So I'm going to stick with that 9 out of 10.
Well, just to clarify, you mentioned Firefly. He didn't do Firefly.
I misspoke. I had Nathan Fillion on there. I knew the second. I almost corrected myself, and I knew the second I said it, and I was like, dang it. No, I was trying to think of
Joss Whedon?
No, the movie that he did with Pam from The Office. The one that he did. No, that wasn't him either. What the heck movie am I trying to think of? What?
Brightburn?
No. I just listen. It's been a long day, and all I'll say is I've got Nathan Fillion on the brain. Guy Gardner was great. That's how infected I am with this character. I'm thinking nothing but Fillion. I'm thinking about his character in Guardians 3.
I was going to say the movie he did with Nathan Fillion, Slither. If that
Slither.
helps.
Yes, thank you. And she's not. No, it's not. It's not Pam from The Office. It's Elizabeth
the
Banks,
same one
right?
who's in Brightburn.
Is it Elizabeth Banks?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Wow, I'm fired. I'll see you guys later. Have a good rest of the show.
It's okay.
Ashlyn, I'm sorry I teased you so much, Ashlyn. I'll see you later. Anyway, I'll stick around. Why not?
All right, John,
I want to hear what everyone else
what's your rating for Superman? What's your rating for Superman out of 10?
You even said it perfectly. I'm gonna have to go with a 9 out of 10 myself because there's not a perfect film. If you really think about it, there are little things you can nitpick about, like some of with the whole ice breath into the black hole, or like when he's grabbing when he stops the building from crushing Letty with the car instead of just pushing the car because the building fell on the bridge anyway. So I feel like he just did like just little things like that. And but for the most part, like I have to like really think about it to like really nitpick this movie. But I would have to give it 9 out of 10. I think James Gunn worked his magic again. It got me excited for the DC universe, and I was already excited for Fantastic Four. And I agree. I'm like even more excited to go see another superhero movie. I'm gonna have to give it 9 out of 10, and I just hope they can kind of keep this momentum going.
For sure. All right, Ashlyn, hit us with your number.
Okay, it's gone up just a little bit, just a scotch. I'll give it
3 out of 10.
I'll give it a whole
Take it.
6 out of 10. Okay, guys.
All right. Well, not completely a passing grade, but you didn't completely fail either.
Listen, it got a
We'll get
D
her.
by American standards. Okay.
That's not a good standard nowadays.
No, not really.
Would you rather watch this or would you rather watch Slaughterhouse?
Oh my God, Josh. No, Slaughterhouse.
Not another 9 out of 10 movie. Or 10 out of 10, actually. Can I say one thing about the car thing? I forgot about it when not the car, when he like stopped the building. That is the most shameless aura farming he did after he flies up through the rubble. He is just basking in it. It was almost offensive. I'm like, oh, he knows what he's doing. Like he's got stuff to do. He has got places to be. He's got people to save, and he just floats up just so that one lady can be like, damn, this guy.
That felt to me so way more like Snyderverse Superman than the Superman we were dealing with in this movie. To your point, like
it looks cool. Like it looks cool, but it's like not since Kenobi on the top of the stairs when they had but not since then have we seen such an aura farm. Not since that movie. This was just, I mean, he earned it, whatever. But it looked cool, but I'm like, that was one of those things like, who is this for, Superman? Who is this for? Go save the day and then do it later.
Go stop the black hole in the rift.
Ooh, actually, can I? I'm so sorry. Can I have one more thing that was really important for me to say, and I forgot about it.
okay.
What a missed opportunity for Lois not to make a joke about being in his harem. I wait every time after they mentioned it. I was waiting for her to make a snide joke about it, like, "Oh, how many women do you have in your harem?" Or "I would be in your harem any day," or something stupid like, "Oh, is it just me?" And I waited for it and waited for it and waited for it. And I'm like, is she not gonna make a comment about? I mean, he's just like, none of it's true. She's like, I know. And I'm like, no, you're James Gunn, dude. You're James Gunn. There is a joke in there that I am not good enough to write. Just have her say anything about it would have been hilarious. I literally thought that whole harem line was in it just so she could make a joke to Superman about it. I was like, talk about subverting expectations like that. I was on the edge of my seat every time she says something like, oh, she's going to mention it. She's going to make a snide remark. And then nothing. James Gunn, you know what? 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. No, I'm kidding. It's still not.
I will
Anyway.
say, am I the only one that thinks the second half of the message is doctored and that they messed with it? Because even being not the biggest Superman fan, 100% that second half is absolute bullshit. There's no way that's not doctored. Like,
leading experts have said it's not doctored. Leading experts. I also
until Mr.
totally agree.
Terrific
Totally agree.
looks at it and says it's not doctored, I don't buy it.
Totally agree. You're 100% right. It was that was the weird part. Like, sorry, it can't be because the news said it couldn't be doctored. The news.
A guy that
said.
creates pocket dimensions totally can't fucking doctor a video that he submitted, by the way. He's the one who sent the video. but no, it's not doctored. Like,
He got a dimension. He has an interdimensional device. There's no way he could have done that. Adobe Premiere? No way. He cannot. There's no way. Well, to be, I mean, no, I'm not even going to go there. But, okay, Ashlyn, you need to stop because you might actually bring my score down one. That's like a cinema sin. Like, you might bring it down one notch because that's hilarious. It's like, superhuman, like interdimensional, like nanite lady. It's like iMovie. No, can't be done. Impossible. The Kryptonian encryption is too strong. No, we literally like. We literally have like we can fake a presidential address on our phone right now. I can make a video if that guy saying anything I wanted to on my phone. It's like, nope, sorry, can't be done. We don't have the technology. Now get in my spaceship and fly around for like 6 hours at the end of this crisis. And then this next scene, like, or not the next scene, but like 10 scenes later, the building is a ship. The building is a ship. Nope, can't do it. Possible. Well, actually, you won me over. You won me.
It's an 8.5 out of 10 now.
Oh yes, no, it really is. That's great. Oh my god, can't do it. Sorry. Nope, can't do it.
Oh my god, it's
Now we're back on hashtag. It really is
that's
super.
why
shit.
for me, that is why for me. So I land a little bit more
Oh my
like
God.
in the middle between all of y'all. So before the movie happened, I was like arguably at like a 2 as far as my excitement level and stuff like that. Like I did not care about this movie. The ads were not selling me on it. I did not care. I saw it saw it opening night. I liked it. Saw it second night, literally the night after. Liked it a bit more. I think I've landed probably at. And I think the more I've thought about it, there's certain things I've liked more than I've hated. So I'm gonna put my score to 7.5 for me. So definitely way above what I thought it was gonna be. Room to grow. Room to like love this new franchise more as time goes on. There's a lot of good things coming from DC. Hopefully, we've got the Lantern series that's going to happen. A Clayface movie's in the works. Obviously, Supergirl is next. So there's a lot of stuff out in the pipeline. And I'm wearing a Creature Commando shirt because that show was awesome as well.
Season 2.
Yes, season 2 needs to happen for that. That is like the most James Gunn I think that we'll probably see out of the DC thing is that show in particular, in my opinion. Well, beyond obviously Peacemaker, because that was kind of his baby already to begin with.
Is Supergirl next year?
Yeah, they put out the poster yesterday.
Oh, really? Is it like done? Have they filmed it? It's all done?
Yeah, it's done. It's wrap shooting.
Wow. In the ground running.
That's what we have some stuff to look forward to. I think it's Supergirl and I think Lanterns is supposed to come out next year, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It's probably like later year would be my guess, but I'm not sure. But as always, we want to hear from you guys. What did you think of the new DC Universe, whatever it's called, Superman film by James Gunn? We want to hear your thoughts. What did you like? What did you dislike? What do you hope to see from the future of the DC Universe and all that good stuff? Of course, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, all that fun stuff at Retroactive POD. You can find me at all social media at Andrew is Losing. Ashton, where can the people find you?
You can find me on social media at BookBrat90. Got some fun stuff working on, hopefully be releasing soon, so stay tuned for those videos. If you haven't checked in a while, I did post some new stuff recently, so go check that out.
Josh, how about you?
You can find me over at McCoy Culture. If you're in the movie reviews, collectible, nonsense, come over there. And now I think I'm going to go end my night watching a real Superman movie, hashtag Man of Steel.
And Steven, how about you?
You can find me scouring animal shelters with a picture of Crypto and saying, "This one, you have it." One like this.
One like this.
One like
all the
this.
behavioral issues.
All of them. Listen. I'd love a dog that actually wanted to be around. Like she's passed out, could care less about me. Our dog Emma.
You should get a bird then, because my bird is glued to us.
A bird, like an actual bird.
Yeah, my bird is obsessed with us. I won't leave it alone.
Oh, listen, I need that attention. Clearly, with the way I behave on these podcasts or these video podcasts, I do need it. Clearly.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Thank you to my panelists for joining us today. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you guys next time.